Yeah, Scottie Scheffler's furthering his legacy. It's already lofty and only getting longer Sunday at Quail Hollow. Make room in the case. The largest trophy, I should say, in the sport now belongs to the Schefflers. Final round of the PGA Championship on CBS. World #1 Scottie Scheffler surging to the lead on moving day, but all sorts of moving on Sunday as well. Scheffler entering with a 3-shot lead, eyeing his 3rd career major. Came out of the gates with a bogey at the par 4 first, looking for redemption at the 2nd. Nobody bounces back like the world #1. Scottie for birdie from 14 feet. A little borrow off the left to the bottom. Takes a 4-shot lead over his playing partner Alex Noren, who also bogeyed the 1st. Ahead to the 3rd. Scottie's 3rd from the bunker. Had some issues early on, but not here. Snugs that one up close, taps it in for par as we head to number 6. Sheffler now a 5-shot advantage. Would it be a coronation? Not so fast. A par putt from 9 feet goes begging on the left side, drops a shot, so the lead back down to 4, no problem. But consider a 2-time major champion in Jon Rahm giving chase. Here his 2nd shot at the par 4 8th. Rahmbo excavating that one from some deep stuff and leaving it under the hole for a lovely birdie bid. Here the putt at number 8 to get to 7 under. Scheffler's lead back down to just 3 shots and some prowess in the next closest. Rahm not done. His 3rd into the par 5 10th. Leaves himself 2 feet. Stress-free birdie putts will take that. Now 2 shots back of Scheffler. Surging is Rahmbo. Back to Scheffler at the par 4 9th. A huge par save to maintain that 2-shot lead from the collar. 27 feet and it won't fall. Would tap in there for bogey, so Scottie's lead now just 1 shot over Rahm. Back to Rahm at 11. A birdie look for a share of the lead. 15 feet between he and the top of the leaderboard. Rahmbo, we are now knotted at 9, and a major championship just broke out. 2 of the biggest names in the sport going head-to-head down the stretch. Back to Scottie at 10. The par 5 is birdie putt for a solo lead. Maybe falling back into that tie for a lead, the proverbial smelling salts. Scheffler back solo at 10 under. Rahm now at the par 3 13th, another chance to grab a share of that lead at double digits under par. Rahm with a perfect read, the pace to match from 19 feet. Oh no! Unforgiving off the lip. Would tap in for par. Then at the next, another birdie look, this time from 7 feet. Never even scared it. Back-to-back misses for Rahm and a missed opportunity. The tie atop the leaderboard lasted all of 13 minutes. Stay with Scheffler now on 14. Getting into Gallup. A birdie for a 2-shot lead. Yes, he did. Even on the day, back to 11 under. After a bogey at the par 4 16th, Rahm now on 17, trying not to compound issue, but when you're forcing the issue down the green mile, these sorts of things can happen. Wayward left and wet. Exit stage left for Rahmbo as he would double bogey the hole. Finished T8 at 4 under, leaking oil coming home, and plays the final 3 in 5 over. Moments later, Scheffler now with a commanding lead at the par 5 15th. An eagle look from off the green, going with the Texas wedge, and the Texan, well, he knows how to do it. Leaves it just short of the hole, would sweep it in for birdie. Alert the engravers, it's happening. Now a 5-shot advantage after Rahm's double at 17. We head to the par 4 18th. Only one thing left to do. This one's all Scheffler's with the family looking on. The Wanamaker Trophy getting its final touches. A tap-in for his 3rd career major championship. Minted in 27 pounds of silver, Scottie Scheffler, your PGA champion. 11 under the number following a Sunday 71. Hugs for all involved as Benny's got another and Scottie's got his Wanamaker. His 4th consecutive season with multiple wins as Scottie claims back-to-back starts. The Byron Nelson and now the PGA. Scottie 3 for 3 when leading or co-leading after 54 holes at a major, and he knows what to do when he's got it. Scheffler, a winner again.
Scottie Scheffler, that was a hard-fought battle today. What were you fighting on the front nine that you figured out and you overcame for such a dominant performance to claim your 3rd major championship title?
Yeah, it felt, I don't know, I mean, I just kept hitting it left. You know, I knew it was going to be a challenging day. You know, finishing off a major championship is always difficult, and I did a good job of staying patient on the front nine. And, you know, I didn't have my best stuff, but I kept myself in it, and, you know, I stepped up on the back nine and had a really good 9 holes, and, you know, that's about it.
Most relatable comment ever by world number 1. We all just hit it left sometimes. We don't know what's going on. We've seen you slip on 2 green jackets. We have now just watched you hoist your first Wanamaker trophy. What's the significance of claiming the 2nd leg in this major championship circuit, and what does it mean to you to get number 3?
Well, I'm just really proud of the way we fought this week. You know, I was battling my swing the first couple days. I didn't have as good of a prep week as I would have hoped to, and you know, it was a battle out there for 4 days. And Teddy did a really good job of keeping me in it, and Randy helped me figure some stuff out with my swing, and you know, Marnus helped get my body right. And it was a real team effort this week, and you know, I'm proud of the whole squad, and I'm looking forward to celebrating this one.
We know for you, family is over everything. Randy Smith, who you just mentioned, a PGA golf professional, has been your coach since you were 7 years old. He is family to you. He was really emotional watching you win this one. What does it mean to win it in front of him, and what has he meant to you, not just in golf, but in life?
Yeah, that's it's tough to really put into words what Randy means to me, but he's a special man, and you know, he's taught me everything about the game of golf, and this is a pretty cool moment for both of us. And yeah, I don't really know how to put it into words, but you know, it's kind of like he definitely is family to me. He's kind of like I always described him as the fun uncle growing up. I could ask him some stuff. My dad, I wouldn't necessarily ask my dad, and you know, he taught me a lot more than just the game of golf, and you know, I'm looking forward to celebrating with this one with him.
Incredible victory. These fans want to see it one more time, Scottie Scheffler. Hoist that Wanamaker trophy and enjoy your first PGA championship victory. Jim, I guess he can't be great at everything.
He did the Morikawa. The top comes off the Wanamaker, folks. Approachable in his ascent, the everyman is the only man, no doubt, who sits atop this sport. Scottie Scheffler, not just winning majors, but by massive margins. The first player since 1983 to win by 3+ strokes in each of his first 3 major victories. Time now for your FedEx Cup update presented by FedEx, where now meets next. A look at that leaderboard where it's Scottie, your new number 1 atop Rory McIlroy and Sepp Straka. That trio, the only multi-time champions on tour this season. It's win number 2 for Scottie and major number 3. For more, we take you out to the Super Tower, where our lead golf analyst of CBS joins us, Trevor Immelman. This was not the linear route to major number 3 that maybe we envisioned coming into this day. Still a 5-shot victory for Scottie. What refocused him when that lead dried up in your eyes?
Well, I think his back was up against the wall a little bit. He really was struggling with his game on the front side. He had 8 shots to the left. He even just referenced it with Amanda when he was getting the trophy, how, man, I just kept hitting it left. And he made the adjustment on the long walk to the 10th tee and all of a sudden just started striping it again. I think the fact that he felt that leaderboard pressure from Rahm and others, he knew that he had to get something going, and started beautifully with that birdie at 10.
Now a combined margin of victory in his last 2 starts of 13, Trevor. And if you'll indulge me, that's where I'd like to go next. 22 Masters, wins by 3 with a 4-putt at the last. 23 Players, wins by 5. 24 Bay Hill, wins by 5. 24 Masters, wins by 4. Heritage by 3. Hero by 6. Byron Nelson by 8. Here by 5 again. What do these margins mean to you?
Well, the fact that, number 1, he understands his game. Number 2, the strategy is just impeccable, and he trusts his skill set. But maybe the most important thing is the mental attributes that he has, the calm demeanor, the belief in himself. And he just goes ahead and keeps his his foot on the gas. It really is impressive stuff from him. You know, the last 2 days is another testament to that. You look at how this tournament really turned on its head yesterday when he played those last 5 holes in 5 under, and he took control of it, and then he coughed it up again. I mean, nobody came even close to playing the second 9 as well as what Sheffler did. The whole week we were talking about how difficult this green mile is, and it is. But on the weekend, he played it in 6 under, which is just remarkable.
Few critiques remaining here following a 3rd major championship and his first outside of Augusta, Georgia. Where do we move the goalposts now, Trevor? With this box being checked, what is next for Scottie Scheffler?
That's a great question. You know, the injuries are behind him. He's restored order. You know, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of talk about McIlroy, and rightly so, after completing the Grand Slam, which is just a phenomenal achievement. But I think there was a part of Scottie that was like, hey, you know, I'm still the world #1. Don't forget about me. And he sure did put his stamp on this weekend here at the PGA Championship.
And a tip of the cap to you and our entire team with Golf on CBS. A major season unmatched. Trevor Immelman, we appreciate you as always stopping by.
Thanks, Moose. It was a great week.
Rick Gehman and Patrick McDonald have had us covered from Quail all week long, so why not one more walk up 18 with our best? Gentlemen, I want to take you back to the moment of conflict in this day, tied for about 13 minutes with Jon Rahm. What recentered Scottie Scheffler, and how did you observe him in that conflict, Rick?
Well, there's a long walk from the 9th green to the 10th tee, and you have to kind of go up towards the top of the property before you hit your drive back down the hill on number 10. And he must have said something to himself, or maybe Ted Scott said something, or maybe he just took an opportunity to take a few deep breaths and find that game, because Scottie Scheffler really did not hit a good shot in the front 9. Obviously, was able to put some good scores on the card, but it was clearly not his best stuff. And then on the second 9, I'm not sure he missed a shot. I mean, it was relentless. It was vintage. It was Scottie Scheffler leaning into the best parts of his game. It was not only the 14 clubs in his bag, but the 15th club, the way he and Ted Scott used discipline and strategy to play to all the correct positions, especially, again, through the green mile, which tripped up so many of his opponents. It was night and day between the two 9s.
It really was, and I think it comes back to the fundamentals, Rick. This is a guy who works on his grip, his ball position, time and time again. After a great round, guess what Scottie Scheffler's doing? He's out on the driving range, making sure the ball position is correct, making sure the grip is correct. And we saw there yesterday, Randy Smith and him working on that hip rotation a little bit. I think that probably had something to do with the second 9, as you mentioned. All the left misses on the front 9. I think it was every single hole pretty much outside of number 1 that he missed the fairway to the left. He got the lower body moving. He got the tempo under control. And as you mentioned, he did not miss a single shot on that back 9 today.
3 puts him on equal footing with Spieth, VJ, Payne Stewart, Demerit, so many others. 48 players with 3 major championships. But a point of distinction here with 15 wins and 3 majors before the age of 29. Only Nicklaus, Woods, and now Sheffler. Patrick, what's your favorite way to frame the historic significance of what we're playing witness to right now?
I think we're going to have to transition the conversation from the generations, right, of Justin Thomas, of Jordan Spieth, of Scottie Scheffler, of Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele to Scottie Scheffler in that realm, building towards that realm, now onto the path of the Tiger Woods, of the Jack Nicklauses. As you mentioned, Moose, 15 wins, 3 major championships, only Tiger and Jack. 3 major championships, all by 3 strokes or more. First player since Seve to do that. Think about all the other accolades, 100-plus weeks at world #1. Longest streak behind only Tiger Woods 1 and Tiger Woods 2, unfortunately for Scottie Scheffler. The Olympic gold medal, first player to go back-to-back at the Players' Championship. He's with Jack and Tiger when it comes to multiple players and multiple Masters and a PGA Championship. That is the that is the group he is currently in right now, and I think as we continue to go deeper into the future, again, only 28 years old, he's going to keep adding his name to that group of 2.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think Patrick covered all of it there. I like to frame it something in regards of since Scottie Scheffler started winning about 3 years ago, he's had Jordan Spieth's career. Now, we spent a lot of time thinking about Jordan Spieth as potentially the best player in the modern era. Obviously, the last couple of years have not gone great for Spieth, but he got off to this unbelievable start. Well, Scottie Scheffler has done what Jordan Spieth took a decade to do, and he did it in the matter of 3 years, plus all the extras that Patrick mentioned. And Scottie is now, Tiger first came into the game as we were getting the ShotLink system set up, as we were able to kind of see the shot-by-shot metrics, and we really haven't had anyone else who could even sniff those metrics. And Scottie is the first one who is doing it, who is showing us what elite ball striking looks like, how you can drive the ball so well and maybe be a great chipper of the golf ball. Things that are not normally paired together. He's just doing it in a way that is so much different than really anybody else we've ever seen.
Into the pantheon and as approachable as any champion this game has ever seen. Scottie Scheffler earns his 3rd major championship and his first outside of Augusta, Georgia. That was one of the last remaining questions we could lay at the feet of the world #1, Rick. What is your burning question now for Scottie Scheffler?
How long does this last? I remember a couple years ago, Moose, we were, thinking this is a moment in time. Scottie Scheffler had won something like 4 out of his first 8, 4 wins in 8 starts for his first 4 victories, and one of them was the Masters, and it felt like we were entering a moment, and we didn't know how long that was going to last. I remember when a lot of the conversation around those victories was, hey, this guy, Scottie Scheffler, is on a heater. A heater. That was the common refrain. Like, this is unsustainable. Well, guess what? I think he's accelerated off of that pace. I mean, it's been pretty ridiculous. So how long does this last? Because I think I would have taken under on 6 months. I would have taken an under on a year. I would have taken an under on 2 years. I would have lost all of those.
Think about all the careers that have been made in 3-year windows. Jordan Spieth, Patty Harrington's another one, Justin Thomas also. We're in that 3-year window for Scottie Scheffler, but to go from that group to the group of Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, Rory McIlroy even, to a certain extent, you have to extend that. Think of Brooks Koepka's 3-year stretch. Yeah. Another player to do that. So I think my question for Scottie, I'm being a little, or I guess I'm excited right now.
Are you being a little silly?
Yeah, I am being. I'm just. How many more can we get? Right? Why stop at 3? Let's go more. I think his game is perfect for the U.S. Open, obviously, with the way he drives the golf ball, and we know what he can do at Augusta National. So, recency bias, yes. The career Grand Slam winner at the Masters, only last major championship. I don't think it's crazy to say Scottie Scheffler might get there one day too.
Hey, the 2 he needs still out in front of us. I know we've been Grand Slam obsessed this season. Our focus now shifts to Scottie moving forward. Fellas, great stuff all week long. We appreciate the insight. Most majors since 2020, Scottie. He's got 3 major championships now, and it's come in his first 23 major starts. He's the best in the world by some margin. More reaction up next here on HQ. Thoughts on Scottie's future this season and others who reared their head on Sunday. What it means for Rahm, Bryson, and the field that fell at the feet of the now champion Sheffler. Back on HQ post round, where Scottie Scheffler's journey to a Wanamaker is now complete. The world #1, 5 top 10s in 6 PGA championship starts in his career, and now a Wanamaker for the mantle, and I think fair to say, not the last time he and Rodman Wanamaker will know one another. We are in the Scottie era squarely, back with Rick Gehman and Patrick McDonald. Fellas, this is another historic moment offered to us here by Scottie Scheffler, and I know the lazy comparison point in this game always is Tiger Woods, but I'm wondering, Rick, if you're comfortable going there. His win rate at the majors now 13%. Tiger carries it over 2+ decades at 17%. But Scottie, 3 majors in 23 starts. It does feel like we're early in the price chart.
I'm comfortable with that caveat, Joe, and I think you nailed it, right? Scottie is doing, over the last 3 years, things that only Tiger have done. He's been very Tiger-esque. Now, the caveat being, Tiger extended that for 20 years. And we have seen other golfers have big years, have big 2-year runs, have big 3-year runs. It's going to turn into a conversation of longevity, because even if this rate of winning dips a bit, and he can continue this for 8 or 10 years, he's going to be one of the greatest major champions of all time. That's the trajectory that we are on. So I'm enjoying the greatness. I'm understanding how great it is, but we need to start looking at it from a longevity standpoint.
Yeah, we've had this conversation about a number of players probably over the last decade or so. Jordan Spieth in 2015, we saw what happened to him. Justin Thomas in 17 a little bit. There's some Jason Day love there for a little bit
he
also.
Won 5 times in a year.
Of course. Brooks Koepka also, and his record in major championships from 2018 through 2019 was unbelievable. But What's different about Sheffler, I think, is how sustainable this feels, and his ability to spin all the plates, that is the golf swing, the driver, the approach play, the short game, and the putter, and continue to get better. We saw this guy make a switch after winning 9 times in 2024 to try to get better on the greens, and that putter of his has bailed him out so much in 2025, and it was a huge reason why he was still in this tournament after those first 2 rounds when he didn't really have his best stuff. So I agree with Rick. He still needs to prove it down the road, 3 more years, 6 more years, whatever it may be. But right now in this window, I think it is fair.
Still just 28 years old, and there appears to be a longevity and consistency at the root of all that Scottie Scheffler does. Can't wait to watch him do more. He does it in the face of one we had hoped would be his foil for the better part of a half-decade, that being Jon Rahm. When Scottie rose to prominence, it was really Rahm's world. On this day, we get that for about 20 minutes, 13 to be exact, tied at 9 under. Does Jon Rahm walk away from this experience feeling like, I've still got it, or, oh no, it's gone? Because it looked like both things, Rick, here on Sunday.
Well, I think he should try to spin it in a positive manner here. I mean, there was a lot of good out of Jon Rahm this week. The fact that he was in contention until, late on Sunday at a major championship, that's good news. The way he finished is always going to be a little bit sour, but I think Jon could kind of frame this and say, I had a couple of putts that lipped out. They didn't go down. If one or both of those fall, I'm in a really good spot. And then I think he can frame what he did in the Green Mile, and particularly this shot right here at 16, or excuse me, at 17, as aggressively trying to win the golf tournament, right? I think Jon Rahm can say, I'm not here to finish 3rd or 8th or anything. I don't care. I'm going for the flag stick, and I know there's danger over there. So it's a matter of framing this, and I think Rahm is savvy enough to frame this positively.
Yeah, the prize money doesn't matter for someone like Jon Rahm, as we all know, with the current money bags in his bank account. But I think Rahm leaves Quail Hollow super excited, absolutely stoked, and with a fire in his belly. Like you mentioned, Rick, think about the shots he hit coming down the stretch. 13, he just missed one, lipped out. 14, he roasted a 3-wood to perfection, a little bit of a bad bounce. 15, up the hill with the 4-iron, roasted it again, hit a great shot. I think the one thing he probably needs to key in on a little bit is that was the first time he was in major championship contention, probably since his win at the Masters.
That's right.
It has not been great for him on that stage. He's had a couple he had the backdoor top 10 at the Open, the top 15 at the Master, but was never really in it. I think he looks at those finishing holes right there and says, my hands might have been shaking a little bit. Those feelings felt a little new, and he comes back ready at Oakmont.
It's better when he's there. It's a refrain we use about all of our expats on this tour, and that takes us to Bryson DeChambeau, because something always has to be said by him and by us about him. Bryson's undoing, again, the iron play on this day and throughout the week, guys. I'm not sure having 4 clubs in your bag that you hit shorter than 200 yards, but who am I to question the bag makeup of one of the best players in the world? The distance control, again, spotty in this moment. Rick, do you feel Bryson getting closer to capturing another major championship with all these near misses, or is it just what it is? T-something, a top 10.
He's really fascinating, especially at major championships, and the last 5 or 6 of them have been nothing short of splendid. What you mentioned, Joe, is really savvy from the sense that he uses his best weapon, the driver, to put him in a lot of situations to have to use the worst part of his game, which are these really kind of touchy 3/4 wedges, half wedges, these things that you have to be pretty exact on. You have to have a lot of feel on. He tries to remove the feel from all that, and like mentioned, he has such big gaps in those wedges that when you're constantly putting yourself in that position, he seems to be confused about how to control that distance properly, and he keeps playing himself into those positions.
It is a weird trade-off, a little tug and pull there. I think he's going to be just fine first off moving forward. I think more major championships are in his future. You have to remember at the beginning of the week, this guy wanted to change his irons. They weren't, I think, developed quite yet. Obviously has the 3D printed irons that Rick has talked about this week. Maybe they're 4D printed, 5D printed. I don't know how that works, quite honestly. But he has a new set of irons that he's very excited to put into play his next tournament. He told CBS Sports that he has a trick up his sleeve for the U.S. Open. I cannot wait to see what the heck that is going to be. But his driver puts him in such an advantageous spot and gives him such a high floor, honestly, so that when those irons do come around, that ceiling's going to go through the roof.
A trick up his sleeve doesn't seem like we are skewing towards the more traditional, but say it with me. It's better when he's there, and we can only assume that he's going to be a part of the conversation, not only heading into Oakmont, but heading out. We do have to have a conversation about Rory McIlroy and the week that wasn't. It felt a lot like that decade between major triumphs of, man, this really set up nice for you, and you wasted an opportunity. If anyone gets a free pass, it's Rory McIlroy after what he accomplished at the Masters. Total sum of the parts, Patrick. How do you grade out Rory this week?
C-, D+. It was weird. I think weird's the best way to put it. I know we described Quail Hollow in the PGA Championship the first 2 days like that. I think all 4 days of Rory McIlroy was just weird. Remember, this guy had the non-conforming driver. He didn't say anything about that. He said no to media after Thursday, after Friday, after Saturday, and after Sunday. I know this guy's a career Grand Slam winner, but you don't get a pass for that. You're Rory McIlroy. You should lean into that, especially this is in a tournament where he's emotionally charged or emotionally invested because he's out of this by the weekend. And so I think it was just a very forgettable week for Rory McIlroy, a weird week for Rory McIlroy, and one he'll probably want to forget, especially with how bad he drove the golf ball.
One of the things that we talked a lot about at the Masters over the last decade or so is that Augusta National is a good fit for Rory McIlroy, but does Rory McIlroy fit Augusta National? And that's mostly in the headspace. And that's the one thing that we have so much trouble getting into. And I think there was probably some mentals that were battling Rory. You know, he just ascends to the mountaintop. He actually had some quotes after the Masters saying, I basically have done everything now. And maybe just that lack of urgency coming out on Thursday and Friday, along with the troubles that Patrick mentioned in the bag, I think was a little bit too much to overcome. And even for one of the best drivers that we've ever seen, that if you don't have that weapon in your bag around Quail Hollow, which he did not this week, it really turns him into a much more average PGA Tour player, and not even Rory McIlroy can overcome having his biggest strength removed.
From Quail to Oakmont, we roll on. Patrick McDonald and Rick Gehman got us covered everywhere we go. Thank you, fellas. Here's a look at that road ahead. It's the Chuck coming up, then the Memorial, followed by the RBC, your U.S. Open, June 12th through 15th from famed Oakmont, and then the Travelers. Straight ahead on CBS Sports HQ, full highlights from Scottie's latest splash, your winner at the 107th playing of the PGA. Sunday in Charlotte, touch and go for about 20. None better suited for such heat than now 3-time major champion Scottie Scheffler. Flags won at the last and 2 putts from there. A 5-shot victory for the world number 1 as he collects his first non-Masters major. It's Sheffler, king of the Queen City. Major number 3 and win number 15 for Scottie, does so in impressive fashion. An even par 71 here on Sunday as the now 3-time major champion again reigns supreme. Post round is presented by the new QI35 drivers from TaylorMade. Doug Bell with the first word as always. Doug, what can be said? I mean, this one maybe a little touch and go at times, not the route to a 5-shot win that we would have assumed, but Scottie Scheffler once again pedal to floor down the stretch here at Quail Hollow. What's your takeaway?
Well, Joe, I know you love the game. I love the game, and I love watching the best in the game. And what we're witnessing right now with Scottie Scheffler is one of the greatest players in the history of professional golf. That's not hyperbole. I'm not caught in the moment. Over the last 3 years, this man has been so dominant. His statistical numbers, approach shots to the green, strokes gained overall, can only be matched by the great Tiger Woods. I mean, think about that now. I mean, he is on the Tiger level of analytics, and nobody's even close. So with all due respect to the great Rory McIlroy, who won the Masters and is the 6th man to ever complete the career Grand Slam, this man, Scottie Scheffler, the Texan, is one of the greatest players in the game. And he has not even reached his peak yet. That usually happens with players in their early to mid-30s. Joe, we're witnessing something pretty remarkable. Let's sit back and enjoy it and relish the moment. We haven't seen a dominant player like this since Eldrick Tiger Woods.
He clears that hurdle of 2 majors, many of his peers notably sitting there at 2. Scottie now with 3 and 15 wins. 15 wins, 3 majors before the age of 29. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and now Scottie Scheffler. He is in that echelon of player, and it's only right to talk about him as such. Let's be specific about the day that was. Tied at 9 under with Jon Rahm for a bit of time there, 13 minutes to be exact. What refocused Scottie when it was seemingly slipping through his fingers at times?
Well, he's so precise, Joe, and unflappable. And I think we saw Jon Rahm become unraveled down the stretch, a guy who has not been under the gun, the heat of a major championship microscope in a long, long time. And Scottie just doesn't seem to get bothered. And the reason being because mentally he knows that his game is not going to fall apart. And mentally he knows that he's better than all the other guys. And we heard Siwoo Kim talk about it. We heard Jordan Spieth talk about it 2 weeks ago. They all know this guy is just better than they are. And that's why a guy like Jon Rahm, I think, faltered. Again, when you look at that scorecard, the birdie at 11, he tied Scottie Scheffler. Game on, Joe. I'm watching, describing the action. I'm like, here we go. And then to watch Rahm fall apart. Short birdie miss at 14. Makeable birdie at 15 does not convert. And then he goes, unfortunately, 5 over par the last 3. Game, set, match for Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, before Rombo slipped on that Liv Letterman's jacket, this was supposed to be the head-to-head. This was going to be the marquee for a half-decade. We get it for a moment on Sunday, but it was all Scottie. He now has his 3rd major victory. It comes in his 23rd major start. That's around a 13% win rate at the majors. Tiger, obviously, for a longer period of time, carried a 17% win rate at the majors. He is, again, eking into that echelon of Eldrick.
Yes.
When we look at this win, it's expectation, and I know there were storylines coming in outside of Scottie Scheffler, but time and again, he meets and exceeds our expectation. Where does the bar move from here?
Well, I think he's going to keep the hammer down, Joe. You know, we were all celebratory with Rory's incredible win at the Masters, right? And I still think that is number 2 behind the 86 Masters for being the most exciting. And we thought maybe Rory's going to win again, and maybe Jordan will complete the career Grand Slam. But we kind of put Scottie to the side. We just assumed he'll be okay. He'll play okay. He played great in Houston, dominated a field that wasn't stellar on a golf course that wasn't that difficult. But we should have put more credence in the fact that Scottie Scheffler came into this event, Joe, 100% healthy. You know, not enough was made of the injury he had at Christmas when he accidentally cut his hand celebrating Christmas with his family. And as he unveiled just a couple of weeks ago, it took a long time for him to get the feel back in the palm of that hand. And for golfers, you have to have that touch, that feel in your hands. And when he became 100% healthy, we saw it at Houston. We should have all just said, oh, my goodness, the rest of the year is going to belong to this guy. And again, I hate to jump on the bandwagon because it's hot off the presses. He wins his first PGA championship, his 3rd major. But I really believe this guy has separated himself. The difference between him and Rory, who's number 2 in the world, is still significant, Joe. And now with 2 majors ahead, the playoffs, the FedEx Cup, oh, my goodness. He's the man to beat. There's no question about it.
He has set himself apart in performance, in execution. But I want your point of view on his strategy, because the cadence of the end of Quail Hollow was something we had our eyes on all week. Plays the final 5 holes in 5 under a day ago, plays them in 1 under here, and sort of just plots it around the 72nd hole. Strategically, how does he excel and separate himself from the rest of the best of the players in the world?
Well, here's the deal, Joe. You know, we said before, Rory is the best driver of the golf ball, right? And the eyeball test. But in reality, when you think about it, Scottie is just as powerful as Rory. Maybe doesn't get out there quite as far, but he controls where it goes better than Rory. And when he's such a surgeon on the tee, even though he blocked it out there a bit on the 72nd hole, that is rare. He cuts off the right side of the golf course. And Scottie knows exactly where the tee ball is going. When you talk to him and Ted Scott, his caddy, in a practice round, especially when you walk around with them, they will tell you, this is where I'm aiming, and they will land within about a 5-yard radius, Joe. I mean, it's astonishing how precise this guy is. And then he knows, Joe, he's better with an iron than anybody else. Strokes gained approach shots. He gains more than a shot around on the rest of the field. Think about that. Multiply that times 4 for a tournament. He gains 4 strokes gained approach shots per tournament against the best players in the field. So, Joe, it is, you've described it, and I've heard you say it a zillion times, he is a surgeon on the golf course. No better surgeon right now than Scottie Scheffler.
He is, and if we want to go football here, because I know you do that as well, he runs the football at you for 4 quarters, and there's not many players who can do that or defend that for 4 days. It's not splash plays. It's not extra possessions the other way. He just battles against attrition, and he is the attrition in many cases. Once again here, a 15th win to his name, a 3rd major championship. This has been the Grand Slam year. We've talked about it for a number of names. Rory gets it done. We were alluding to Spieth maybe having a chance this week. We now look forward to our final 2 majors, the 2 remaining for Scottie Scheffler. How does Oakmont set up for him? And then what is his relationship with Links Golf, maybe the one last bastion for him to figure things out?
Well, I really believe his game sets up well for a USGA setup, and the PGA Championship has become more of a USGA setup over the last, well, let's just say since they moved it to May. They've gone to these courses and set it up more like a U.S. Open. Maybe not quite as tough. The rough isn't quite as high, but you saw him surgically peel back a great field on an incredible golf course at Quail Hollow. And now at Oakmont, it'll be a tougher test. There's no question about it. The fairways will be more narrow, but again, he hits more fairways than any of the other top guys percentage-wise. And with that iron play, Joe, it sets up ideal. You know, if you ever read the old books of Jack Nicklaus, he always said he never went for a hole location on a par 3. He always went for the middle of the green. Jack Nicklaus played a very conservative game. Scottie Scheffler plays that type of game. He goes to spots. He hits into the right quadrants of the greens. If a par is what's needed, accept it, and then he moves on. He only gets aggressive where he sees a perfect pin location for his game, and I think that just sets up so perfectly for him at Oakmont. Again, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, Joe, but we're talking about a very special player, Scottie Scheffler. And again, he's number 1. Rory's 2, but there is a difference. There's a separation between 1 and 2.
Yeah, greatness gets us excited, and there's no shame in that. I just wonder where we're at in the price chart right now. If Scottie was a stock, it appears this stock continues to go up, and it's going to be a blast to watch it here in the years to come. When we look back on it in history, one of the best to ever do it already. Doug Bell, we appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Joe.
A look here at your largest margins of victory at a PGA championship. Scottie does it by 5. A missed putt at the last, a short one at that. Could have got him into the tie with that 94 Nick Price performance. 5 plenty for Scottie, and now 3 majors as the 2-time Masters champ claims the Wanamaker. More to come on HQ Post Round. Straight ahead, we'll take you into the Super Tower. Trevor Immelman offering his thoughts next on CBS Sports HQ.